Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I am joined by Ash and we're going to be talking about our ride or dies, but our epic champions ride or dies. Ash, how you doing, mate?
Hades, I am doing great, man. How are you? How are you, man?
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Good.
Look, for those who don't know Ash yet, where the hell you been? I'm going to put his YouTube channel down below. We're also going to do a collab on his channel. I'll link that down below as well. So go and check that one out after watching this video. But I just felt like we're both pretty much whales. We've both got pretty massive accounts.
No mythicals, though. Do you have a mythical yet?
I do not have a mythical, no.
Me neither.
No.
Me neither, man. Me neither. It's funny when you make a promise that you're not going to do like primal shard openings, you find yourself as a content creator being like, huh, I have no mythical champions. I probably never will. So,
the portal's
anyway.
red, but that doesn't make a difference. But yeah, it's I mean, really what I wanted to show was, although I've got a stacked account, and we're talking about a lot of gold on the account, I know you have as well. What epics do I actually still use in my teams on a day-to-day basis, even though I could call on pretty much any legendary in the game? That's the idea. And I also just want to say, like, I've done a bunch of free-to-play series and stuff like that. This game can be beaten pretty much anywhere, maybe with the exception of like endgame PvP with epics. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, epics, and especially when you combine like the Mithralas of the world, like champions that are accessible,
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% agree, man. I feel like there's a lot of really freaking good epics in this game, and that's the thing that I know that you mention this all the time, and I do too to my viewers, is that you really, truly do not need to spend $1, 1 quid, if you will, on Raid Shadow Legends at all to beat its content. That's the ironic thing of like such a greedy developer. With all apologies, I don't mean to just come on and be super negative, but such a greedy developer. But the underlying beauty is that by what they give you for free, meaning the epics that you're lucky to get along the way and the free champions, you can basically beat the content in the game, which is really cool,
Yeah, totally agree. So yeah, I'm going to go through, maybe we just go through like one at a time and call out the champions that we still use on a day-to-day basis. And this is like hard fact. I literally, if I think of my Iron Twins team, and I've already done Iron Twins today, so I'm going to show just the team on my screen here, but I use actually 2 epics in this team. So I still use Aox, the Rememberer, on a day-to-day basis. And, he's actually kind of essential in the team that I run. So I don't run the kind of unkillable team. I run heavy buff team with Geo putting out a burn. And then basically I'm buffing my team over and over again to get the enemy to take turns, to hit me as often as he can, and for Geo to do the damage.
Yeah.
But what Aox does, and is fairly unique in what he does here, is when he is hit, he's got the ability to extend the duration of the burn. Yeah, so there's not even, I don't think there's a legendary that I could even put in his place that would do the job as well as he does it. So yeah, Aox, a Rememberer. And also, by the way, he's just a really cool epic. If you were to pick him up as a mid-game player or what have you, then his ability to heal your whole team is cool. He brings AoE, decrease attack or crit rate, and he's also got some poisons going on as well. So generally, he's a good champion. But in terms of a ride or die, I use him every single time I run Iron Twins.
That is really cool, and I would love to agree with you, but I'm not going to lie to your amazing audience. I actually have never really messed around with Aox at all. Zero.
Right.
Like, I mean, I know the champion, obviously, very familiar with his kid, because I've talked about him a lot, and I've heard from my viewers that he's way, I don't want to say way better than you'd expect, but like, in a way, like his kit, like from what I hear, it just kind of comes together, and to your point, it kind of can fill some of those niches that not even legendaries can.
Yeah. And again, a lot of the times, actually, I bet most of the heroes that we talked about today, it's some sort of cool passive that they've got.
Yeah.
That's really, for me, that's where this game is so good, right?
You're right.
Like this guy, the reason I actually use him is his passive. Like the rest of his kit is good, but it's his passive, increases duration of 2 random debuffs by a turn when hits. That's why I use this guy. Who's your first one up?
My first one up, I want to go with kind of a more, I don't know, niche is the right word, but I want to go for a champion that I only use in one area, but boy, is she amazing. And it's actually Lady Annabelle, the Bannerlord epic support champion, right? I don't know where I first saw the Lady Annabelle solo Bommal strategy video, but Listen, I can make a better Bommal, a faster, I should say, Bommal team, right? But there was just something so beautiful, and this is part of another like cool thing about like what you can do with some of these champions. Lady Annabelle can solo Bommal at any stage, any level. And
Yeah.
what happened was is I'm sure you've been in this position before, but like I had to like gear swap or build champions a certain way for certain areas of the game. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I take the hit because I'm not farming Bommal, I'm farming Darth
Sure.
Faye, right? So like
Yeah, definitely.
maybe
Yeah.
I just build one epic who can get the job done in one area. I don't have to touch any other champions on my account. She can solo Bommal, and that's all I'll use her for. And then it frees up me to have that flexibility to run those other champions however the heck I want to, for wherever I want to.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that's why I actually ended up, maxing out and very happy with Lady Annabelle. Like a very, I guess, simple kit, but just so effective. I mean, it gets exactly what I need to do, and that is with her crazy kind of kit on the A3 there. She's just able to do the impossible, which is take down one of the hardest bosses in Doom Tower.
Yeah, nice. And again, it's her passive, isn't it? So she heals when the bombs explode.
Yep,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Yep,
so she gets like this big chunk of health. So it's almost like the bombs popping off
yep.
doesn't really affect you like it does other champions. Very cool. I've never actually built this one out, but I've seen it being run, and yeah, very like you say, it means you don't have to build out a whole team. Like my team, if I think about my Bommel team, and again, I don't farm Bommel. Yeah, I run a Nishak team. Yeah,
Yep.
so it's super quick and it's great. I just get on there and it's like, right, that's that done. 1 minute down, and yeah, it's kind of like the ally attackers and Nishak, and they're all built really well. My Nishak's got like over 7k attack, and my ally attackers are super quick and all that sort of stuff. So it means that some of my pretty solid gear is actually being wasted when I could just do the same thing. Because again, I farm Dark Fate. If I was to farm someone on this rotation, it's Dark Fate. Okay, cool. Well, let me get to my next one then.
Yeah, 100%. And like, as I misspoke when I said the A3, it meant the passive again. But to your point earlier, it's the passive, man.
Yeah.
I think that I look at my list and I think almost every one, maybe with the exception of one, is the passive. But yeah, go on, man.
Yeah, well, I'm going to call out someone where it's actually not the passive, which
okay,
is going to be unusual. But Creodan, the blue.
Okay.
So he's one of the newer epics. I actually think he's one of the best epics in the game, by the way.
I love this dude.
Yeah, really, really solid. Not so much because of like the very unique mechanics that some of these other ones we're going to talk about have got, which make them really beyond epic. He feels like he's an epic, but a really good one. Like his kit's super solid. And it's mainly about his freezes. So he was brought into the game, I think, to help people with Finite, and he's doing exactly that job. And that's what he does for me. So he's got the AoE control on his A2. He's got the ability to drop that turn meter on the boss on the A1 because of the freezes. And he's also got the kind of like turn meter feel to get the rest of your team moving quicker on the A3. He gets he's got a passive where he can like boost some turn meter and stuff on his when freezes go off. So he does benefit from that. But I run him in a freeze team, basically taking down Finite hard. And I tried other combinations with legendaries that I've got, and I've got like Newt in the team and Yakar and stuff, but I tried other combinations, and he was my most consistent and best version of this team. So, yeah. So
I love that call out, man. Yeah, I mean, they didn't build champions like this, epics especially. Like when we started playing the game, man.
Nah, it's different. Yeah.
I mean, a 65% chance at freeze on a 3-turn cooldown, on 2 hits on each hit. I mean, that's insane, man. Like, I think that it was like Luria or whatever, Luria, right? Was like the best freezer out of epics.
That's true.
Forever. Yeah. And it was her ability comes nowhere near this,
That was like a single hit, 50%. Right? That's the difference. Yeah.
Not even legendaries didn't have a 3-turn cooldown 65 times 2 hitter. No way.
No.
And then he's got the increased speed, turn meter fill, the great A1. To your point, that's a great call out on Croydon.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm never sure. I
don't know. I don't even get me started on pronunciation.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to go with the super obvious. I'm going to pick the chalk, Hades, and I'm going to go with who I think, do I really mean this? Definitely the best epic support in the game, and it's Godseeker and Neri. Probably, arguably the best epic in the game, I think. I mean, I use this, definitely my most used epic is Godseeker, right? Because she is like a cheat code in Sand Devil. I use her in just basically her whole entire kit is so good that I feel like from Hydra to Iron Twins to anywhere you want like amazing support, she's got you covered. She's got
Yeah.
heals on the A1. She got more heals everywhere on the passive. She's got the A2, which is so good, man. I mean, people overlook the A2 oftentimes because of her very unique revival, which we'll talk about in a second. But she's got a great heal on a 3-turn cooldown. She's decreasing duration of all buffs on enemies by a turn, increasing duration of all buffs on all allies by a turn. You know how valuable that is. There's not that many epics out there who can have the buff extension, especially on a 3-turn cooldown. Hers, Sandlash Survivor, God, there's like a few more, but not
Yeah,
that many,
there's only
you
a
know?
few. Yeah.
And then you go into Rise of Glory, an ability that not even any legendary reviver in the game has, which is the revive with the reset, the cooldown of all of their skills. It allows you to lose her and somebody else if you're going to duo Sand Devil. Not only pick them both back up, but also reset the cooldown so you can attack the Sand Devil when he's actually asleep with your best ability and know that it's going to be on cooldown. So good. And then Guardian Angel. If an ally is about to get hit with a fatal hit, puts the revive on death beforehand. It's like it's just it's a legendary kit. It's a legendary champion disguise.
Yeah. So I agree, and I run this kind of like duo Sand Devil team. I think mine's not that fast. I don't know if perhaps I could speed it up, but I run it with Ninja, and
Same.
I literally just like set it running, go off and do something else, and I've got a bunch of Ascension materials at the end.
So
it never fails.
24?
I run 24, yeah, but I think you can actually run 25 nowadays. I've just not kind of upgraded the team.
I run her. I used to run the Ninja on 24, but now I run her and Walking Tomb Drang on 25.
Oh, okay.
It's actually faster than my Ninja team by a little bit, and it's obviously stage 25, so why not?
Yeah. So what I was going to ask you, so I run her here. Do you have her in other teams, on your kind of like day-to-day? This kind of like ride or die. That's what we're going for. Do you have her in other teams?
Yeah, I have her in my Iron Twins team. Trying to find the exact team, and I'll tell you it in a second. I'm pulling it up on my account. And gosh, I used to use her in one Hydra team, but I've since replaced. But not to say that you can't. Like, she's just so good across the board, right?
No,
like,
I agree. Yeah.
I use her on my main stage 15 Iron Twins team as well. And there's one more area too. I'm spacing it out, but I use her in one more area as well. But I use her with Demitha, Geo, Helikath, and Alsgore, Crimson Horn. That's the squad.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Well, look, I'm going to move on to my next one. It's a name you just mentioned there. So my clan boss team, on a day-to-day basis is actually got 3 epics in it. So I could call out any of these 3, honestly. But the one I'm going to call out is Demitha, because I just feel like, wow, what a game changer when you pick her up. But she is a ride or die. She is able to create these 1-key teams full auto, and that's become important now because it means I can just hit the quick battle and save myself basically an hour of my day.
Right.
So I know not everyone can do this, and I apologize to you if that's who you are, but Demitha definitely comes in as a ride or die for me because I've actually built a number of different teams. The one I've got now is just a quick, well, not even a quick. Well, it was a quick one. Now it's just one that does enough damage. But yeah, Demitha, Maneater, Barakin with Draco and Kreela is the team I run right now. But Demitha just enables Clan Boss. She enables the 1-key, and yeah, what a champion with that. Really, with her A3 ability, right? So the ability to put block damage out. But even along, not just that, because if you were running somewhere like Iron Twins, then she's also got the ability to increase the duration of buffs. And
she's another one, right? She's another one of those buff extenders.
So she's got a bit more in her kit than what you'd see on the face of it. But yeah, she's just unlocking Clan Boss for anybody in the game.
I run her in Clan Boss as well, Demitha, and along with Seeker, another shout out.
Seeker, wow.
Eris and Jintoro and Fushan. So I had the Myth Fu. But I will say that totally agree. And man, I pulled her on my mini account, dude, and Demitha, the level of healing that she can pull off on top of everything else. I wasn't ready for it, man, because I had not usually ran her outside of Clan Boss on my main account. But boy, she can come in there with that heal. It just gets exponentially better on the A2, and she has continuous heal on the A3 as well, So underrated healer, just a great support champion.
No, for sure.
All right. I have a I had a few champions that I use in like 2 different areas, right? So
Okay.
I went with one that everybody's gonna have, you know, which is really cool. And I just think he's one of the more underrated. He's a freebie, and I think we
Right.
might like psychologically underrate freebies because they're free, you know. But it's
Hmm.
Grush the Mangler. I'll just cut to the chase here. Grush is a monster, man. He's a beast, dude. I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves. Now, I use him all in secret rooms, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So
I was going to say, like,
just to
where are
be
you
fair,
using this dude?
to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
fair, to
Yeah.
be fair, there's a lot of like epic only secret rooms. There's like a spirit only or an ogre and tribe only secret room, right? So
Yeah.
Doom Tower hard secret rooms. He's like my hard carry though. I don't want to underrate him just because they're secret rooms, because this dude is my best damage dealer for an epic, certainly an epic defense based champion. I think
Yeah.
he's the best damage dealer out of every epic defense based champion in the game. Hoskarul would probably be like a second in my opinion, you know, but he's got 2 strong AoE attacks in his kit, right? And then he's one of the best epic healers too.
Yeah.
Like
It's true.
to have that much in his kit because he's placing the big version of continuous heal and then the small version of continuous heal as long as one enemy's hit with a critical hit. We're already building him to have, you know, 100% crit rate because he's a good nuker too. He's got the best nuker or the second, he's got, I think, the second best defense-based multiplier out of defense-based champions next to Hoskarul. However, he's got 2 strong AoEs instead of just 1, right? So I think, and the leech on the A1, again, like, I don't think people use him a ton in the late game outside of secret rooms, but in as a mid game carry, early game carry, and late game still giving utility. Man, Grush, you can tell I'm a fan, man. Like
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah,
he's got a
I
lot.
didn't expect him to come out. Honestly, I didn't
Yeah.
expect the Grush, but I do agree. Like, everything you're saying is true, and he does smack. Like, I remember when I first got him, when he first came into the game, and I was like, damn, this epic hits hard, like really hard for a defense-based
He's really
unit.
the best of both worlds, healing and support, and he's got debuffs too, you know. So
Cool. Well, I'm gonna go with a super obvious one, right? But
okay,
and I actually did a video just the other day calling out this epic because she's been involved in a recent event, and it's basically Seer, right? And I said this: if you've got enough void shards, this is the best guaranteed champion pull you will ever do. Like above legendaries, because her kit is so crazy, and it's very simple. Honestly, it's just her A3 rips all of your buffs off and blows up the enemy. And this champion is just so crazy. Like when you talk about high level Doom Tower waves, yeah, you need some other people in the mix as well, but she does stuff that no one else can do and makes a bit of a mockery of the game because of how well she does it. That's my view. What's your view on Seer?
I don't have much to add, man, except for I agree. I mean, I love Seer. She's my most used by far epic in the game. And she just makes everything, like we always complain about like the time factor. If you have Seer, you're gone a long way to solving the time factor of raid, right? She just makes these annoying waves with level 300 plus mobs like so much faster. In addition to that, I made a video like a week or 2 ago. I went against in live arena. I went against a Seer. And I didn't ban her, and I'm like, it's Seer, ha 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 ha, cute. You're using Seer in gold live arena, and she smoked my team, man.
Well, I guess you've got these teams with all these buffs and that. You know, she just rips them off.
And like, I thought I could just, CC. I forgot what it was. I had a plan for her, but whatever happened, it's just like one shot kill my whole team, and I'm like, dude, even Seer in the arena, come on, man. So I feel like she's even underrated because for a long time I'm like the best PVE epic. But not really PvP. But now I'm like, maybe even PvP too in some situations, you know?
Yeah, I will say, like, someone commented on my video basically saying, Seer's overrated, she's really hard to build, all this sort of stuff. I'm just going to say it now. 100% crit rate, put some crit damage on that Seer, and then pair her with people that have got buffs. Yeah, you don't even need accuracy. If you're ripping off your own buffs, you don't need any accuracy. And honestly, in the basic form of Seer, that's all you need. Like she's So good.
and
She
and
really is
set her
so
up.
good.
One of my friends in real, like I only have one friend in real life who plays raid, right?
Right.
And he was running a seer team, and he wasn't killing everybody. But I mean, this might sound probably obvious to all your viewers, but like he wasn't setting her up with a debuff. And I'm like, dude, she still benefits from debuffs. Like you can run a decreased defense champion,
Yeah,
you know?
decreased defense
And
helps a ton. Yeah.
yeah, and then he put in like whoever he had, I think like Stagnite or something, and he's like, wow, it works. I'm like, yeah, man, like it's not
Yeah.
that not that hard. You can get it. Seer work for everybody. Yep.
Right, man. Give us
All
one
right.
more. Give us one more
Yeah.
to finish this
Yeah.
off.
Sure.
Come on.
Sure. Well, are we just gonna say Geo is like a given at this point?
Well, maybe give us one more, and then we call out the other givens that perhaps we've not
Okay.
spoken
All
about,
right.
because
Cool.
I think there's a few. Yeah.
Okay. Inquisitor Shamil. Inquisitor. I mean, listen, it's kind of like Lady Annabelle when like my first choice, right? Is what he does is so kind of niche to Hydra, you know? Sure, he does a lot of damage too. Like you can use them certainly, but it's so niche in terms of the ability to remove those true fears, man. Uh, Let alone the turn meter boost, which is great too. You know, you can activate that Geo whoever you have in the lead spot, but just removing the stupid true fears is
Yeah.
such it's just such a relief, like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in my clan, even like they build multiple copies because they want one for each team, because unless you're sitting on an account with like 3 Tawana rocks or something, it can be difficult to deal with those true fears. So
Well, I'm looking
it's
here, just as we're
yeah,
talking, I'm looking at my clan, and my clan have
yeah,
got some pretty like crazy krakens or whales at least, right? Double Taras, Marishka, Mishinaki,
yep,
Sifi, all of them with like, big ascensions and Shamal. Yeah, it's like
yep.
he's in there because he makes it so much easier, and he's unique. Again, his passive makes him totally unique. And you're right, like I use him in some of my Hydra teams, and it just makes life easier. Simple as that, isn't it? Yeah.
This is the theme of the video, man. But like, it's champions that legendaries just can't do a better job. Like
Mm.
99% of legendaries can't do a better job, and that's all you need from an epic is to serve one role, one crucial role,
Yeah.
and it can change your account.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's just call out a couple of the other ones that we do
Sure.
use, because I think I
Yeah.
had another 4 or 5 that are pretty much up there, and
Yeah.
we've seen them before, but I'll call out 2. So
Sure.
Royal Guard, I still use him in my Hydra teams. I use him in my Dark Fae team, farming like stage 120. So he's definitely a ride or die for me, and he's always been in my ride or die videos, even when I'll go back to like 2 years ago. So cool to still see him at that sort of level. And I will call out Farak in the Fat as well. I mentioned him on my Clan Boss team, but this dude is so good. Like as an epic, his ally attack ability is as good as basically all of the legendaries, with the exception of maybe the Void one, that the one who looks super cool. I can't think his name.
Uh,
I don't own him.
what affinity? What affinity? What faction?
The Void affinity dude.
Oh, Cardio?
Yeah, Cardio. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Guy does it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Farakin just does a lot of work. I won't go into full detail, but this guy is a ride or die for me as well.
No, I use Farrakhan as well on a couple of my ally attack teams. I'm like, like the Griffin and whatnot, Eternal Dragon, in Doom Tower. So good call outs there. I would add, dude, we talked about this the last time we collab, man. I don't know if you remember, but Tagore, man, he is my boy. I still think he's one of the best epics out there in the game. I use him so much more on my mini account than I do on my main account. That's why I didn't include him. But I mean, he's got like one of the better AoE revives out of all. You can use his A3 without having to revive anybody as well. He's got increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. He's got an amazing heal based on his max HP. He's got the big version of increased defense. He's got damage mitigation on his passive. He's got HP in all battles. I love Tagore, man. Like, I've never seen any comment on any of my videos after I talk up Tagore from anybody who's ever disappointed in him. Like everybody's like, "Wow, I invested and I love him." Clearly, you haven't.
Where do you run him?
Clearly, you haven't.
No, so I've not really used it. In fact, I've got him sitting here, unascended, like sitting in the vault. So
try him. I mean, I don't know if you could use him in your account. That's why I didn't include him on my my end game list. But
interesting.
But man, I feel like most players in the game would be shocked at how good Tagore is. Like the numbers he even has like good multipliers on an AoE on the A2. Like, so you can build him for attack if you want to. Look, his base attack for a reviver is like, he's a weird champion, man. He's very good, very good, very weird, but very good.
Ah, cool.
Yeah,
Any
so
more?
Jagor.
You have
Geo, obviously,
and Geo,
Geo.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like Geo is like I said that Godseeker is the best epic out there overall, but I think Demitha, Geo, like they're in the conversation, certainly. You can just use them almost anywhere. Iron
Yeah.
Twins, I use Geo, and obviously he's good in Hydra and against most bosses. So yeah,
Yeah,
Geo's
for
very
sure.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one I haven't called out here as well is Seeker, but I actually have stopped using Seeker at this moment in time
Okay.
because it's not part of my clan boss team right now. But certainly he's been in a bazillion of my clan boss teams, and I
Sure.
usually could throw him into a new one if I wanted to build out something different. So
The truth is, there's
yeah.
so many epics that we didn't call out that are
Yeah.
really good in this game. Man Eater. I mean, there's a lot. So
Yeah. Well, look, Ash, thank you for coming on and talking about your ride or die epics.
thanks for having
We
me,
have
man.
done. Yeah, I mean, we've done a collab on your channel. I will make sure I ping that down below. Come and watch that next, guys. Come on. Show Ash some love. Drop him a sub. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure, bro.
All right, we'll see you later, guys. Cheers.